One strategy, one pair, 1% risk, one session is all you need. Guys, this sounds so simple and this is really the reality of trading, but the way to be able to really accomplish this and to really follow these rules is gonna take you years. Let me break it down in this new YouTube video, friends, and let me share you some of my experience that I've gained over the last 5 years of being a profitable trader. Let's go. So friends, I've started this journey by my own over 5 years ago, and I've struggled a lot in the first 3 years to understand what it takes to be a profitable trader. And many people always said, all right, you gotta follow risk management. Obviously, you gotta control your emotions. Obviously, you gotta follow one strategy, obviously. But it's not that simple in reality, right? Because you don't know specifically what kind of style you should trade. You don't know specifically what pair you should trading for. You don't even know at the beginning if you should even trade Forex, futures, crypto, stocks, options. There are so many options in reality, and that is crazy, and that will actually just lead to you taking more time for this whole thing to even discover it. And that's the hard reality, because if someone could give you a blueprint on what to do, it's much easier, obviously, but even then it's not gonna guarantee you succeed immediately, because there are a lot of things that will contribute you to really even give it the necessary value, or to even make it for you possible to follow these rules. So let's get through it step by step, friends, starting with the right strategy and how you can find it and why you should not hop from strategy to strategy the entire time. All right, so I'm gonna combine it a little bit right now with my past experience, what I did, my mistakes, and also my solution for it. So first of all, when it comes to strategy, there are a few options that you can go for, right? You can actually go to a very simple strategy. Let's say support resistance, which is something which I think everyone learns at the beginning of the journey. I think it was my first concept that I've ever learned, in combination with buy low, sell high, certain things like this. A little bit of market structure probably was involved in this as well. And yeah, you could follow something like that, as well as some chart patterns, head and shoulders, or falling wedge and trend lines and so on. I think this is a very easy approach to look for, and everyone is starting with this. And this is also gonna actually already tell you if you're gonna be this type of trader. Most people cannot deal with that. The reason, it's not giving you an answer to why market is moving. It's just gonna give you a very simple approach, which has nothing to do with the real market principles, and you can actually just trust it. You have to trust it in reality, because only that is gonna make it work. As a trader, in order to make a strategy work, you gotta execute it every single time the right way. The problem with the strategy is that it's gonna set up in every market differently and in every market phase differently. So you cannot really build up a profitable trading edge if you're not collecting a lot of data. That data is something which nobody's handing it to you. Everyone would just say, hey, this is the pattern, that's it. But if you would be, or if you want to be profitable with this type of strategy, you have to spend a lot of time backtesting it, like crazy. And I believe it's possible, but I believe it requires so much hard work. And at the end, you won't even understand how the market works. You would just understand that, all right, this is a conclusion or something like that. So I would not recommend you to deal too much in this space. By my own, I've been for a very long in this space, but I had a combination of using impulsive and correction waves in this analysis, which helped me to understand the market intention to a degree. But even that was not really easy for me to sustain for a long time. So I've spent around my first year trading this in combination with supply demand. Let's go to the next chapter of strategy that you might look for, which is probably smart money concept. And yes, if you previously traded this style of support resistance, supply demand, maybe in combination also with indicators, balling a band. I don't know the name, if I'm honest, because I haven't really used indicators. RSI, MACD. I've never been a fan of that, because that was kind of the first videos or the first inspirations that I had at the beginning of my trading career, that this is not how trading works. I also knew very fast that support resistance is something that didn't work, because they always said, hey, that's the liquidity in the market. And because of that, I've never tried to deal too much with that. And I always believed that supply demand is going to be a big solution for me to overcome that. But that was not true as well. And then I came across SMC. And with SMC, I gotta say that you're gonna be trapped. You're gonna be trapped in an illusion of believing, or you believe that you understand how the market moves. You don't. You have absolutely no idea what you're doing. You're just gonna follow some random order blocks, some random market structure, and every single time when that market structure breaks, you believe it's gonna go in the opposite direction or it's gonna reverse. But then you gotta understand that break of structures most of the times liquidity. That will bring you then to the next step, which is ICT concepts. ICT concepts is gonna actually showcase you the failures of smart money concept. It will show you that what SMC traders are doing is exactly the opposite of what you should do. Whenever there's some break of structure, hey, that might be a liquidity, and so on. But with ICT concepts, you're gonna get trapped in a black hole of education, because you believe that you can actually understand every single movement, every single candle, and everything about the markets, because ICT is giving you explanations to everything. But this is actually the biggest trap at the end, because you are gonna have a look totally different to the market. And that is not the bad thing, because it's good. The more you understand about it, it can help you. But on the other hand, you're gonna actually over leverage and having too much confidence in the next potential movement, just because you can give it a reason why it did the movement before, and then you're gonna get called for stop loss hit after stop loss hit, and so on. There is even a statistic from Propfirms that ICT traders are those ones who are blowing their challenges the fastest. And that is proving the point that they are just overconfident. If ICT trading strategy is the best out there, why is not everyone profitable with it? Why? And that's exactly the reason, guys. It gives everything a good explanation, 100%, and also by myself, I'm using ICT concepts. But the problem is that just because someone says, hey, that was the reason for this particular movement, this situation, doesn't mean that this is gonna happen the same time next time, right? You're gonna back it with data. Data is the most important thing in trading. And what does that mean? In order for you to collect data, it requires experience. And this is the holy grail. At the end, guys, you can be profitable with everything, all right? I believe the more understanding you have behind the market, the better it's gonna be for you. But still, you need the data. And either someone is giving you the data and giving you a blueprint specifically on the concepts and also proving it to you that it works, or you're figuring out all these things by your own. I had to do it by my own. I went through a lot of things. I've discovered things, I've backtested things, and so on, because I couldn't rely on all these mentors out there, if I'm honest, because they've been just teaching concepts, they've been teaching patterns. And just because at this particular time it worked out, the next time, every single time it failed. And sometimes it worked out, sometimes not. So the reason for that is because I've been missing some points, some data, which I still needed to collect it. And that is the truth and the holy grail about trading strategy. So you gotta just figure out one strategy which makes sense to you, that you like, and then actually collect the data. Of course, it's easier if you have a mentor who can always give you a trade recap, an explanation on past price action or on most recent price action, so you can actually automatically learn while you're trading stuff. This is the best and the fastest way to boost and to collect your own data, because you know what you're looking for. Most people, even if they collect data, but they're not following the same things every single day, the data is actually irrelevant. Because if I'm doing stuff today like this and then tomorrow differently, I will have data for different things. And I need data from one thing only. And this is the hard part, because as a trader who's learning certain things or certain new concepts, it is sometimes the problem that they are using the concepts already wrong in the first hand. And this is why the first step is trading strategy. You need one. And this is probably the biggest thing and is the hardest thing because it takes you years at the end to find someone to trust if you want to follow a mentor, but then also to collect the data or to find one who already gives you the data. And this is something which you don't really find very often out there. All right, so I believe this alone takes you up to 3 years. In most cases, I would say. Of course, there are people who are finding a right path already faster, but even if they find it that fast, most of them can't appreciate that, and then they're moving on to the next strategy because their bad phase will come. They don't see, they cannot look through it, they don't listen to their mentor or whatsoever, and then again he will be trapped in the cycle, and then probably he will even give up on trading. So you see, there are advantages and disadvantages. At the end, everything is much more complex. All right. Then the next point that we just mentioned was actually that you just need actually 1% risk, right? So of course, I'm not saying you gotta use always a 1% risk. I'm not doing it either. I have their specific risk management system behind it, and when I'm risking more, when I'm risking less, and when I'm not even trading. That is also part of risk management from my point of view. So the key or the point behind it is actually risk management. And in order for you to be able to understand risk management and also to follow it strictly, it requires this trading strategy first. Without the trading strategy, which works, which you have trust in, which you believe, where you're also able to cut losses, because that's the point of risk management, to cut losses and to maximize profits, you're never gonna do it if you can't trust your strategy, or if you don't have the data to back it up, that this is the right choice right now to close at this point or to take profit at this point, all right? Or to take the entry or to even consider this being a valid setup. So you see, it's super linked. And this is exactly what risk management is not the first thing that you gotta learn. It's actually building a trading strategy. Then 1% risk. And the next thing is then you just need one pair. Most people are looking at the beginning of the trading journey at hundreds of pairs. I did it by my own and I traded all of them. I've traded Euro JPY, Euro AUD, GBP CAD, GBP USD, GBP GPY, USD CHF, everything basically. And at the end, I never understood what I'm doing because I was floating in profit or floating in losses. And at the end, I never understood what was the main reason because I didn't have any overview anymore over my trades. That is also a big negative point at the end. And this is where I also would say one pair mastery is much more important and will lead faster to success. Because in trading, you gotta understand not every day needs to be for you a trading day. A no trading day is a day which protects your capital because you should only attack the market when your setup is there. Most people are trading anyway. And if you're doing this kind of thing, it just proves you still need to go a long way because you're still not at that point yet where you can actually say, all right, it's not my trading day, it's not my setup. And this is something which again will come with time. So I would say if you're focusing on one pair or on 100 pairs, at the end, with one pair, it's going to be easier for you to understand the next potential movement because you will learn the specific behavior of one pair. And that will help you to also learn the specific scenarios that one pair presents to you. For me, the biggest game changer was actually when I switched from trading tens of pairs to just one. And I did that 3 years ago with Euro USD only. That was the very first time when I experienced profitability. Then I switched to GBP USD because I was ready for a more liquid market. And then I switched to gold because I've always had fear from gold. And the reason for that was the extreme volatility. And now the volatility is my friend because it allows me to stay only for a small time window in the trade and close it afterwards in massive profits. But of course, the losses can happen very quick. And that's why I'm cutting my loss with my stop loss. All right? That's basically everything that you gotta know. Also, one session is what I mentioned. You don't need to trade the entire day. If you're a day trader, most people try to always catch the entire movement of the day, which I'm gonna tell you is something which will not work because you can never be as perfect as the market. Most people are always like this. They're trading a 50 pip movement. They're making profits on that. And let's say this is a 10K profit day or whatsoever. They're happy. Then they see market going 200 pips in the same direction. And then they are like, oh, but I could make much more money and so on. And now that is the point when they feel down, when they feel, all right, I'm still not good whatsoever. But in another scenario where the price only goes 50 pips and then it's reversing 300 pips, they would say, all right, that was the best choice and so on. And you gotta understand that trying to achieve perfection in trading is not possible. You gotta actually just understand your setups, follow your set of rules, which you've backed with data. That will allow you then to have confidence, and that way you're gonna respect your risk management. You're gonna be able to control your emotions, because the emotional in control will only come by you not following your strategy in the first hand, then risking too much, which will bring you in a phase where you are on a survival mode because you don't know what you're doing right now, because you're floating too much in loss, which shouldn't be already from the first hand, but you are in that situation because of all the other things that happened before. And this is what I'm sharing with you right now, this video, so that you now finally understand what you are doing probably wrong in your trading. All right. And at the end, this is what I said at the beginning: one strategy, one pair, and 1% risk is all you need in order to achieve profitability. But it's a very hard and long journey in order to achieve that. So if you are looking for a trading strategy which is backed by data, with a mentorship which can provide you everything that I just mentioned in this video, then check out the link down below. In our inner circle, you will get everything that you need. All you gotta do in reality is just simply to trust me, because without trusting me and not giving it the time to make it work for yourself, you are not gonna make it. And if I couldn't actually convince you that this is the best mentorship for you, then check out on my Instagram the daily feedbacks and results from our inner circle members, because that will actually blow your mind away. With that being said, have a nice day. See you guys. Bye bye.